Hold it right there. This is the concierge, sir. I knew it was you.
Do it!
Picture this, it's the 1990s, and your bedroom walls are covered with posters of the most gorgeous guys on the planet. These weren't just actors, they were icons, dreamboats who defined an entire generation's idea of perfection. But then, something strange happened. One by one, these heartthrobs started disappearing. Not because of scandal, not because Hollywood rejected them, but because they chose to walk away. At the height of their fame, when magazine covers and million-dollar contracts were flooding in, they said no thanks and vanished into thin air. What happened to these men who once had the world at their feet? Where are they now in 2025? The answers might shock you because their stories are far more fascinating than anything they ever did on screen. From Ivy League professors to spiritual gurus, from firefighters to furniture makers, these 15 male heartthrobs took paths nobody saw coming. Let's dive into their incredible journeys.
So?
Planet Druidia is in sight, sir.
You're really a spaceball. You know that, don't you?
Thanks, sir.
Number 15, Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis wasn't just a 90s heartthrob. He was the king of family comedy throughout the late 80s and early 90s.
Little kid who has no ability to relate to other little kids.
You want her to relate to him?
From Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to Ghostbusters, this guy could do no wrong. But in 1991, tragedy struck. Moranis lost his wife. And suddenly, being a Hollywood star didn't matter anymore. He had 2 young kids who needed their dad, and without hesitation, he made a choice that would stun the industry. He walked away from fame at the absolute peak of his career. While other actors were clawing their way up the ladder, Moranis stepped down entirely to become a full-time father. He turned down massive roles, declined reunion opportunities that would have made him millions, and essentially became invisible. For over 2 decades, he devoted himself to raising his children in private, occasionally doing voice work from home, but never seeking the spotlight again. Fast forward to 2025, and Rick Moranis is now 71 years old. His kids are grown, thriving adults, and insiders confirm he's living peacefully, still declining most comeback offers. He did make a brief return in a 2020 commercial and signed on for a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot, but on his terms, limited shooting, family-first schedule. Moranis proved that sometimes the bravest thing a star can do is choose real life over the red carpet. His transformation isn't physical, it's spiritual. He traded blockbuster premieres for Little League games, and he's never looked back.
Do you know Samantha Baker?
Sophomore, right?
Yeah, what do you think of her?
Number 14, Michael SCHOEFFLING. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you know exactly who Jake Ryan is. Michael SCHOEFFLING's portrayal of the dreamy high school senior in 16 Candles made him the ultimate crush, the guy waiting by his red Porsche, the one every girl wanted. But by the early 90s, SCHOEFFLING had completely vanished from Hollywood. His last film was in 1991, and then nothing. The truth? Acting jobs dried up, and Michael had a family to support. Instead of desperately chasing roles, he made a radical decision. He moved back to Pennsylvania and became a carpenter. While other heartthrobs were fighting for their next big break, SCHOEFFLING was crafting handmade furniture in a workshop, building tables and rocking chairs with his own 2 hands. He launched a company called Holiday Designs and found genuine fulfillment in creating something tangible. Here's the wild part. He became so reclusive that when journalists tried tracking him down for 16 Candles' 30th anniversary in 2014, they came up empty. His wife mentioned he's a very different kind of person now, and occasional glimpses from his daughter's social media show a bearded, flannel-wearing craftsman who looks nothing like Jake Ryan. At 64, Michael SCHOEFFLING is reportedly the CEO of his carpentry business, living quietly in rural Pennsylvania. Clients commission his custom furniture without realizing their craftsman was once an 80s teen idol. He hasn't acted in over 30 years and likely never will again. He chose wood shavings over movie premieres, and there's something beautifully pure about that.
Oh, you need the glasses. There you are. There you are. There you go.
Actually, I call these the Milli Vanilli glasses because there's no glass.
Oh, there you are.
Number 13, Josh Saviano. Remember the nerdy best friend Paul Pfeiffer from the Wonder Years? Josh Saviano played that role to perfection, becoming one of the most recognizable faces of early 90s television. But when the show ended, wild internet rumors started swirling. People claimed he'd become Marilyn Manson, which was completely false but showed how mysterious his disappearance had become. The reality was far more impressive. Josh quietly left acting, enrolled at Yale, and became an attorney. But he didn't stop there. Understanding firsthand the unique challenges challenges child actors face, SAVIANO launched a consultancy specifically designed to help former child stars transition into adult careers. He guides them through the financial and psychological pitfalls of leaving fame behind, essentially becoming a guardian angel for kids trying to escape Hollywood's grip. In 2025, Josh SAVIANO is a successful attorney and consultant who occasionally speaks at industry events about the darker side of stardom. He's in his late 40s now, looking nothing like Little Paul. He's filled out, professional, often in sharp suits at legal conferences. His mission has become helping others avoid the traps he watched so many fall into. And there's something deeply admirable about using his experience to protect the next generation.
Come on! Do it!
Number 12. Jeff Cohen. Chunk from the Goonies was one of the most beloved characters of the 80s, and Jeff Cohen's Truffle Shuffle became legendary. But after his teenage years, Cohen made a stunning pivot.
How old are you, 11?
11 going on 45.
Yeah. You're aging very well.
He quit acting entirely and reinvented himself as a prominent entertainment attorney. This wasn't just any lawyer career. Cohen rose to become one of Hollywood's most respected legal minds, negotiating enormous deals for major streaming stars. Industry insiders know him for his no-nonsense, actor-friendly contract terms, and he's built a reputation for protecting talent in ways he wished someone had protected him as a child actor. At 50 years old in 2025, Jeff Cohen is a powerhouse attorney who occasionally attends Goonies reunions, much to fans' delight. But his real legacy isn't on screen. It's in the countless careers he's protected behind the scenes. He went from treasure-hunting kid to Hollywood's most trusted legal advisor, and that's a glow-up nobody saw coming.
Pick it over there.
I'm making you mic, check it. Yo, here I am. I'm making you mic, check it.
Number 11, Brian Austin Green. David Silver from Beverly Hills. 90210 was every teen's favorite DJ, and Brian Austin Green rode that fame through most of the 90s. When the original series ended, Green explored music and indie films, but he largely stepped back from the intense spotlight to raise his children away from public scrutiny. What fans don't know is that Green has been dealing with anxiety stemming from his sudden teen fame, and he's channeled that struggle into something meaningful. Recent information reveals Green built a mentoring platform for aspiring young actors who are dealing with similar issues, helping them navigate the psychological challenges of early stardom before it destroys them. In 2025, Brian Austin Green is in his early 50s, still occasionally acting but primarily focused on his mentorship work and family life. He's been open about his journey through multiple high-profile relationships and fatherhood, showing a vulnerability that makes him more relatable now than he ever was as David Silver. He's traded the 90210 glamour for real-world wisdom, and his fans respect him more for it.
Oh my God.
Sydney.
Billy, watch out!
Number 10, Skeet Ulrich. With roles in Scream and The Craft, Skeet Ulrich was the brooding bad boy every 90s girl wanted. His intense stare and mysterious energy made him a heartthrob, but by the early 2000s, he'd consciously stepped back from blockbuster franchises, choosing indie films and supporting TV roles instead. Why? Because of family. Ulrich prioritized time with his children over maintaining his heartthrob status, and he found peace in a completely different lifestyle. Reports suggest he's passionate about restoring classic cars and living rurally, far from Hollywood's expectations. He occasionally reappears in cult horror shows, but it's always on his terms. Quick projects that don't consume his life. At 55 in 2025, Skeet Ulrich embodies the less is more philosophy. He's comfortable, grounded, and still handsome in that rugged, weathered way. Fans who see him at conventions say he's incredibly down to earth, more interested in talking about vintage automobiles than his films. He walked away from fame to restore cars and his sanity, and honestly, that tracks perfectly for the guy who survived Ghostface.
How did you get in here? There's no school tour today.
I'm not on a school tour. Look, I'm an agent. I just came from basketball practice. I probably left my ID in the other clothes.
Number 9, Frankie Muniz. Malcolm in the Middle made Frankie Muniz a household name in the early 2000s, but by his early 20s, he'd shocked everyone by leaving successful sitcoms to become a professional race car driver. This wasn't a publicity stunt. Muniz was serious, competing in legitimate racing circuits and later drumming for a touring band. His journey hasn't been without challenges. Racing accidents and health battles, including memory loss issues, made headlines and concerned fans. But Muniz has found contentment in the thrill of changing lanes, literally and metaphorically. He's spoken openly about preferring the adrenaline rush of racing to the monotony of memorizing scripts. In 2025, Frankie MUNIZ is 39 and still chasing whatever makes him feel alive. Whether it's racing, music, or his latest venture, he's living proof that child stars don't have to follow a traditional path. He's weathered, tattooed, and unapologetically himself. A far cry from the genius kid in the suburban house, and he wouldn't have it any other way.
You get a new wife, I'll guess you have with her, huh?
I certainly hope so.
Will she scratch up your back?
What?
Number 8, Ross Malinger. The adorable kid from Sleepless in Seattle melted hearts in the 90s, but Ross Malinger took the most unexpected path of anyone on this list. He completely abandoned acting in the early 2000s and pivoted to sales and business development for major automotive brands. Here's what's fascinating. Malinger never missed Hollywood. In rare interviews, he's expressed genuine happiness about his corporate anonymity. He's become known within the automotive industry for innovative digital adaptation strategies, building a successful career that has nothing to do with his childhood fame. No auditions, no agents, no cameras, just business meetings and sales targets. At 41 in 2025, Ross Malinger is living the definition of a normal life. He's in suits instead of movie costumes, closing deals instead of stealing scenes. Former fans occasionally recognize him at automotive conferences, but mostly he's just another successful businessman. And according to him, that's exactly perfect.
How do you know the summer is really and truly over? My dad says it's over precisely 1 second after midnight on September 21st.
Number 7, Michael C. Maronna. Big Pete from Nickelodeon's The Adventures of Pete and Pete was a cult favorite, and Michael C. Maronna's performance as the older brother in Home Alone added to his 90s credibility. But Maronna made a fascinating pivot. He became an electrician and rigging specialist for top-tier TV and film productions. This wasn't just a fallback career. Maronna's technical expertise has earned him award nominations behind the scenes for some of streaming's most visually stunning shows. He's deeply respected in the industry for his craft, and fascinatingly, he's helped younger environmental crews unionize. Activism rarely discussed openly in Hollywood. At 48, Maronna co-hosts a nostalgia-fueled podcast with his former co-star Danny Tamberelli, offering deep dives into industry history and personal stories from their Nickelodeon days. He occasionally steps in front of the camera for fun, but his real passion is the technical artistry behind the scenes. He went from child actor to the guy making your favorite shows look incredible, and that's a flex nobody expected.
My parents are having a party tonight.
What?
Party tonight. And you should come.
Oh, yeah.
Number 6, Freddie Prinze Jr. The late 90s belonged to Freddie Prinze Jr. She's All That, I Know What You Did Last Summer. This guy was the rom-com king, the heartthrob every actress wanted to star opposite. But by the mid-2000s, something shifted. Freddie admitted he didn't love acting the way people assumed, partly because of his father's tragic Hollywood story and some brutal on-set experiences, particularly filming the TV series 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, which he called so difficult it made him want to quit entirely. Add a spinal injury requiring surgery, and Freddie reassessed everything. When his daughter was born, he made a definitive choice. I became a full-time father. Acting took a backseat to being present at home with his wife, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and their kids. But here's where it gets interesting. Freddie found new passions that brought him joy without the Hollywood stress. A lifelong foodie, he wrote a best-selling cookbook celebrating his Puerto Rican heritage. A hardcore wrestling fan, he became a creative writer for WWE's Friday Night SmackDown, scripting storylines. He also found a second career in voice acting, lending his voice to Star Wars Rebels and other animated projects, which gave him creative fulfillment without the fame trappings. At 49 in 2025, Freddie Prinze Jr. hosts a popular wrestling podcast called Wrestling with Freddie. He's developing his own small wrestling promotion, and he's living his best life as a husband and father. He's salt and pepper handsome now, often spotted courtside at Lakers games looking relaxed and happy. He traded teen idol status for real fulfillment, choosing mental health and family over desperate fame chasing. And honestly, he seems like he's winning.
An intriguing cocktail of two American obsessions, fame and faith. Andrew KEEGAN, who you may remember as a heartthrob from such TV classics of the 1990s as Party of Five and Seventh Heaven, is now at the center of a new spiritual community.
Number 5, Andrew Keegan. The pretty boy villain Joey Donner from 10 Things I Hate About You made Andrew Keegan a late 90s heartthrob. But by his early 30s, Keegan's path took a wild turn that had everyone asking, wait, what? In 2014, he founded a spiritual community in Venice Beach called Full Circle, diving deep into New Age philosophies and alternative spirituality. Media outlets immediately started asking if the 90s heartthrob had started a cult. Headlines screamed about crystal bowl ceremonies, cacao rituals, and spiritual gatherings led by a former teen idol. Keegan laughs off the cult leader accusations, insisting Full Circle was just a community center for spiritual exploration. He'd felt a pull toward meditation, yoga, and deeper meaning after years in Hollywood's superficial world. He spent tens of thousands of his own dollars transforming an old temple into a spiritual haven, hosting Sunday gatherings that mixed hippie locals with curious fans. Full Circle closed in 2017 when the lease expired, but Keegan's spiritual journey continued. Fatherhood in 2016 deepened his desire for a grounded life, and he's since balanced freelance acting with environmental and spiritual advocacy. At 46 in 2025, Andrew Keegan is unrecognizable from his teen idol days. During his Full Circle period, he sported a man bun, linen clothing, and prayer beads, looking more yoga teacher than model. He's filled out a bit, embraced fatherhood, and lives a bohemian lifestyle. He recently reunited with fellow 90s stars at conventions, charming fans with stories while clarifying, "I was never a cult leader." His journey from vain model to spiritual seeker gives him a unique energy, one that comes from living life completely on his own terms. Hollywood be damned.
Came with the turkey, huh? Mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, macaroni and cheese.
Number 4, Danny Tamberelli. Little Pete from The Adventures of Pete and Pete became a cult favorite, and Danny Tamberelli's comedic timing was legendary. After Nickelodeon, he shifted gears entirely, becoming a musician, sketch comedian, podcast host, and author. Tamberelli plays in the band Jounce, blending his love for music that was actually inspired by on-set jam sessions with punk icon Iggy Pop during Pete and Pete, something that shaped his artistic vision more than any acting role. He also co-authors books with his wife, mixing nostalgia with contemporary parenting lessons, creating a fascinating bridge between his past and present. At 43 in 2025, Danny Tamberelli co-hosts that popular podcast with Maronna, staying connected to his Nickelodeon roots while building a creative career that's entirely his own. He never chased mainstream fame again, instead carving out a niche that makes him genuinely happy. And that jam session with Iggy Pop, still the coolest thing that ever happened to him.
All right, we will set up behind the pool house, right?
Number 3, Charlie Korsmo, the precocious kid from Hook. And What About Bob? Could have easily continued acting, but Charlie Korsmo had different plans. He consciously retreated from acting as a teenager, returning only briefly for Can't Hardly Wait in 1998, before pursuing something far more impressive. Korsmo went to MIT for physics, then Yale Law School, and rapidly rose to become a law professor at Case Western Reserve University. But here's the heartwarming detail. He still exchanges Christmas cards with Steven Spielberg. The boy who played Jack in Hook maintained that connection while building a completely different life. Korsmo is now recognized for his research in corporate law and finance, occasionally speaking at legal and film seminars where he uses anecdotes from his acting days to teach critical thinking and resilience. He's created a fascinating bridge between Hollywood and academia, showing students that childhood fame doesn't define your intelligence or future. At 47 in 2025, Professor Charlie Korsmo looks nothing like the kid who fought pirates in Neverland. He's scholarly, bespectacled, often in tweed jackets at university lectures. Students occasionally do double takes when they realize their law professor was a child movie star. But Korsmo keeps it professional. He chose textbooks over scripts, MIT over auditions, and built a legacy far beyond anything Hollywood could have offered.
You know, a lot of times that middle child ends up being the funny one because he wants the attention.
Number 2, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. JTT was the ultimate 90s teen idol. As Randy Taylor on Home Improvement and the voice of young Simba in The Lion King, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was everywhere. Magazine covers, lunchboxes, bedroom walls. But at the absolute height of his fame, he did something shocking. He quit Home Improvement before its final season to focus on education. Burned out by years of child stardom and nonstop auditions, JTT enrolled at Harvard, later transferring to Columbia University and studying abroad at St. Andrews in Scotland. He treasured what he called the intellectual anonymity of academia, describing libraries as a fresh experience. brilliance compared to Hollywood's chaos. JTT deliberately avoided a major comeback, occasionally dabbling in directing and making rare public appearances, but never returning to that teen idol intensity. What fans don't know is he's rumored to occasionally lecture on media and representation, giving select talks far from California. He's also reportedly a board member of the SAG-AFTRA union, working behind the scenes to protect actors. At 44 in 2025, Jonathan Taylor Thomas remains Hollywood's most mysterious success story. He avoids social media and red carpets, living a quiet, academically enriched life that he chose decades ago. Rare sightings describe him as mature and scholarly, often sporting a beard and glasses, looking nothing like the clean-cut kid from Home Improvement. He traded premieres for campus libraries, fame for fulfillment, and he's never once regretted it.
Up, now get upstairs. I am upstairs, dummy. The 3rd floor?
Go.
It's scary up there.
Don't be silly. Fuller will be up in a little while.
Number 1, Macaulay Culkin. The biggest child star of the early 90s deserves the number 1 spot. Macaulay Culkin's face defined holiday nostalgia as Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. By age 14, after becoming the highest-paid child actor in history, he shocked everyone by telling his parents and agents, "I'm done. I wanted to go to school, make friends. I told them to call it retirement," he later revealed. At the absolute peak of his celebrity, right after Richie Rich, Culkin stepped away completely to reclaim his childhood. What followed was turbulent, family battles over his fortune, tabloid rumors about substance struggles he later shrugged off, and years living off his earnings. But slowly, Macaulay found his footing. He enrolled in private school in Manhattan, explored indie films like Party Monster and Saved, formed a comedy rock band called Pizza Underground, which parodied Velvet Underground with pizza lyrics, yes, really, and launched a satirical website called Bunny Ears. But the real transformation came with stability. In 2021, Culkin welcomed a son with his fiancée, actress Brenda Song, and suddenly, the former child star became a devoted father. He made a buzzed-about return on American Horror Story, reminding everyone of his talent. In 2023, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a full-circle moment he approached with humor and humility. At 45 in 2025, Macaulay Culkin has carefully crafted a comfortable relationship with fame. He's selective about work, present for his family, and openly jokes about the wild ride of child fame. He looks healthy and content, often casually dressed, sometimes with long blonde hair tied back, radiating peace. The cherubic kid who defined early 90s Christmas is now a grounded family man who chose his own path when he walked away at 14. Kevin McAllister got his happy ending in real life, and it's genuinely beautiful to witness. These 15 men captured hearts and dominated the 90s, but fame couldn't hold them. They walked away for reasons that were profoundly human, seeking education, family time, spiritual fulfillment, or simply a different rhythm to life. From Ivy League professors to firefighters, spiritual seekers to WWE creative writers, furniture makers to full-time fathers, they've reinvented themselves in ways that remind us life after stardom can be its own vibrant adventure. In 2025, they're scattered across different paths, some thriving in new careers, others living quietly with loved ones, a few resurfacing occasionally on their own terms. What unites them is the courage to choose genuine happiness over Hollywood's fickle spotlight. They prove that walking away isn't giving up. Sometimes it's the bravest move of all. These forgotten heartthrobs haven't just survived fame's aftermath. They've built meaningful lives filled with purpose, privacy, and surprising joy that no red carpet could ever provide. If you love discovering where these 90s icons ended up, hit that subscribe button because there are so many more untold Hollywood stories waiting to be revealed.